Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Buddhist Biohacker. We are here for Herbal Thursdays, even though it's not Thursday today, but those of you who are listening on audio later, you won't know any difference, so it's all okay. So welcome in, and I'm really excited about today's topic. And so all of you folks are joining in the live stream right now. I'm just going to share with you just some updates. So we did have to postpone the Buddhist Biohacker in Spanish this morning due to an internet outage. So that was something that we expected to see in August, September, and October. So we are working on rescheduling that. So those of you who are looking forward to that, don't worry, it will be coming, I promise. Hopefully Thursday or Friday is what it's sounding like. So just so you guys know that. And again, we rescheduled our Herbal Thursdays for today. And our focus today is rebooting your gut, really talking about gut health with Sheryl Garcia, the Colorado herbalist. Welcome back, Sheryl.
Hi.
Yay. I'm excited to dig in. You guys have no idea what kind of treat you're in for because Sheryl has really put together such a great set of information and presentation for us. And I'm just super stoked. So, and I think it's timely. We're going into September. It's a big cleanse month. It's a season change. So yeah, Sheryl, take it away, girl. Let's do it. Let's talk about health.
Yes. So the good thing is I think most people that are going to be listening and watching are on the path and journey of getting healthier. And what I found really interesting about the gut health is what it's connected to. It's not just, if you have constipation, diarrhea, upset stomach, going back to the old commercials where they used to sing that. I almost sung it.
I love it.
I know, right? Yeah. The gut, it does regulate your nutrition, calories that you pull from food and the basic things you think of, but it also, your gut communicates with your brain. It does the communication, like if you're full, if you're hungry, things like that. But it also sends messages related to your hormones, your mental health. And if it's not healthy, it will mess everything up. So you have little neurons, neurons are little in your gut. And one of the things I thought was really neat was when you get a gut feeling, those are the neurons in your gut, in your digestive tract, talking to your brain via the vagus nerve. And so if your gut's not healthy, those neurons are sending messed up messages. So your intuition is not as sharp and you're just not on cue with stuff. And I thought it was really neat to think that as we're working to get healthier, our intuition's going to get sharper and stronger and just more on point. And the other things is serotonin, which is responsible for low serotonin can cause depression. Most of your serotonin is produced in your gut. Your hormones, and if you're a woman, that's a big thing, especially to become my age. The gut helps break down estrogen. So if it doesn't break down the estrogen correctly, then the estrogen is not eliminated correctly through the liver, and then it goes back through your body as toxic estrogen, which can lead to, can increase the risk of breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and endometrial cancer. So a healthy gut's important for that. And it can also do brain fog. So release all that fermented, basically the food ferments in your gut and then you get all fuzzy.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
What you're saying, it is amazing. And what you're saying about the estrogen, there's two things that I really just wanted to put an exclamation point. One of them is the estrogen recycling, because I've battled estrogen surges for the last 5-6 years in a really significant way. That I've found some great supplementation that actually supports the gut and the liver to remove the estrogen, and it really works. So that's something that, I can share with everybody later in the program today. But for me, what I've noticed is the healthier I've gotten my gut, the less I need to do that supplementation. I've actually gone about 3 months without it, which is pretty awesome. I haven't been able to do that without having some kind of estrogen surge. And so that's been really good. So for all of you ladies out there, like understanding how to take care of your gut and understanding that your gut is actually affecting your hormones is huge. And then the other thing I wanted to kind of put an exclamation point by, Sheryl, that you said was about the vagus nerve, because when the gut, it is connected to your nervous system, and all of the anxiety and stress and numbness and tingling and all those different, neurological symptoms that we can get can often be caused by our gut health. I mean, it's really all about the microbiome.
That's what got me, was how interconnected it is with your gut, with what you eat, and not just what you eat. It's stress, it's the medications we take, it's the water we drink, it's the GMOs, I forgot what GMO stands for, but I think everybody knows what it is.
Yes.
Sorry.
All the toxins and the glyphosate.
Yeah, the toxins, exactly. Sorry. It's the inflammatory foods, which are the ones that either your body doesn't like, you're allergic to, or even just the fast foods.
Yeah.
All of that it was just fascinating to me. As somebody who has an autoimmune disease and a chronic illness, which I can say is getting better when I started changing what I eat. Even though I'm not perfect, I have my issues, it's getting better. I was just like, holy cow, it's absolutely amazing to me. And it's also the leaky gut syndrome, which the big words for those is intestinal hypermobility, hyperpermeability. See, I was even wrong on that. Intestinal hyperpermeability is leaky gut syndrome. And I'm sure people have heard about that. But that is what happens when you eat the toxic foods or foods that your body doesn't like, which is usually gluten, dairy, egg, soy, and something else. Again, I forgot. And how your body reacts to that in your gut. That's caused by leaky gut. That is the #1 cause of autoimmune disease, is leaky gut syndrome. And if you'll put up that picture, Lisa, I have a picture of what leaky gut syndrome looks like, kind of. So at the top part is just kind of what causes the damage, leaky gut syndrome, which is kind of what I mentioned, which is the stress, the foods. There's certain medications specifically, which are like the antibiotics, PPIs, which are the like omeprazole or Prilosec drugs for GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, and NSAIDs like ibuprofen and Tylenol. Anyway,
NSAIDs are bad. NSAIDs, you guys watch out for those. And then
you need to stop them.
Yeah, and here's the thing: if you have to take anything if you're feeling like you've got to pop an antacid or Pepto or whatever that is that's out there, then you likely are having leaky gut symptoms, and that's really like the opposite of what you want to do to heal your gut, is pop those medications. So if you're thinking to yourself, gosh, I take Tums every other day, I get heartburn, I'm on, doing all these different things, or I have to do things to support my gut in a synthetic way, is how I like to look at it. You want to think about what's the natural way to support it versus the synthetic way. So sorry, I just wanted to jump.
No, that's exactly it. And if you're on a daily thing, which are the PPI ones, are the daily ones that they put you on, you need to stop them because it is damaging your body so much. The research, they used to, just a few years ago put everybody on them. And it was like the miracle drug. And they have found since then that it is harming your body and your intestines dramatically. And you really just need to stop it. So so I hope I'm saying the sides right. On the left side of the screen, or is it the right side of the screen is the normal?
Maybe the left side. Yeah, you're
okay, good. The left side of the screen where they're all close together is the way the intestine should look. And then as they separate, then the food can get in between and break the barrier. So food can cross the blood something barrier. I'm so sorry. I'm like having an issue today with my brain.
Right, Cheryl.
I know. So they can cross the blood-brain barrier. They cause, when it gets through those, that's when it causes the inflammation, the autoimmunity, and malabsorption and nutrition deficiency. And that's when, that's what you don't want. Now, normally some food and things do get through, that's normal, but when you have like most of it getting through, that causes the issue. Mm-hmm. And that's what we need to avoid.
Yeah, so, I don't want to jump too far ahead. Do you talk about like the gut? Our gut is a direct line to our brain. So yeah. We're going to get into that, but you know, that's something to keep in mind when Cheryl's talking about the blood-brain barrier is when something goes in between those little lines there, you guys can see that in the diagram, which I love this diagram. When it goes inside and breaks through that blood-brain barrier, even though it's in your gut, that's directly affecting your brain health immediately. So it's really something to be cognizant of, especially if you have any kind of neurological symptoms, which a very simple one is migraines, right?
Yes. That's probably the most common one.
Yep.
Is migraines.
Yep.
Yes. Migraines are a tricky one too. They're also related to this, food intolerances and everything can trigger that also.
Yep.
So, and the triggers also, one of the bigger triggers for this is food triggers gluten. That's one of the higher food triggers. And it's like it's like a cycle. Mm-hmm. You know, you have a nutritional deficiency causes this, and then that leads to nutritional deficiency, and then you keep going.
Yeah.
Until you heal it. And it's known to cause, this alone is known to cause, like I said, autoimmune deficiency, chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, weight gain, all the way to obesity, and fatigue, food intolerance, irritable bowel syndrome, allergies, including skin allergies, eczema, arthritis, just regular joint aches and pains, heart disease, diabetes. I mean, this alone causes all of those. So that's how connected your gut is to everything, including depression. I have a son who suffers from depression, and he is so awful to sound, but he's 20 and he's malnourished basically because of what he eats. And I bought him a really good multivitamin, multimineral and to take, and it's helped his depression because he was nutrient deficient, and that led from his gut led up and helped his depression. Not saying that that's going to cure depression. You still need to get mental health treatment and assessment if you are depressed, but it shows that there's still a connection with your gut health and your nutrition with your brain and your mind. And if you just can't think clearly, again, it's your gut health. That's all connected up there. What was I going to say? The immune system we talked about, and we're going into that flu season in addition to the other thing going around. Yeah. And I think I'm done with this if you're done with it too now.
Okay.
If you want, yeah.
Look at that.
Yay, we're back.
We're back.
Okay. So if you have a weakened immune system, which is like autoimmune disease. I hate saying that over and over. Chronic asthma, recurring infections. That's also related to poor gut health, poor food choices. Because if you have a healthy digestive system, you have the right amount of stomach acid, that helps prevent a lot of those germs from actually getting in the rest of your body and making you sick. Also, the reactive foods, like we said, about the ones that your body doesn't like, the processed foods and stuff. And then when you have a low immune system, then that can cause chronic low-level inflammation. Then that leads into the worsening diseases like the diabetes and the arthritis and that too.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling to me what is connected to.
Yeah, I mean, really, your microbiome is directly connected to all disease, really.
Yeah.
Healing the microbiome. So I feel like, step one is like understanding that we need to heal our gut. Step two is detoxing all the garbage that's affected our gut. All the toxicity from food to your water, to your environment, to your air, all those things. And then you have to start eating for your gut. And it really is a process. It's a huge process. And you're right. It's mind-boggling.
It is.
How much is connected directly to your gut. So this is all really good information so far.
Yeah. So, and like you said, the first step is the reboot, and that's taking out and stopping the stuff that's hurting your gut. And that is those NSAIDs, the ibuprofen, Aleve, the Tylenol, stop those. If you're having pain and inflammation, turmeric is one of the best herb supplements you can use for that. There's other herbs and supplements for pain that will not affect your gut. Stop any, like I said, the PPIs like omeprazole, Prilosec, stop those. If you're on an antibiotic, clearly you don't want to just stop that, but there's more that you have to do after that to heal. It's more of an extreme healing of your gut after an antibiotic.
Yeah.
Then you also need to, any food that you have an intolerance to, a food that makes you feel not quite right afterwards, brain fog, you're in the bathroom afterwards, you got to take it out. The artificial ingredient foods, the white sugar food, refined carbs, that's like the white flour, white sugar, McDonald's, that stuff. And then, of course, the gluten and cross-reactive grains like the oats and corn and all of those, dairy products and artificial colors, food dyes, processed meats. I think most people that, and also I feel like most people who are, I don't know, intuitive or on a spiritual path have food intolerances. I think your body starts wanting to be healthier and starts rejecting the foods that are not good for their body. And I really think I've seen that in myself. And I think gluten and dairy are two of the ones that affect people the most from people that I've talked to. And then, of course, in our society, sugar would be the other one. And they're also the hardest to get rid of, but we've done it. I've done it. I know you've done it. I'm still working on sugar, but I've cut it down a lot. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, I will say chocolate is my vice still. Yeah. I do stick to clean organic chocolate because I have to watch the mycotoxins. So I do stick to clean organic chocolate, and I do try to stick to anything that's less than 15 grams of sugar a serving. But it's still tough because, chocolate does great things for the nervous system. That could be a whole show in and of itself. Yeah. So it does some great things for us, but it also, has sugar. But I've definitely, I do twice a year, I go completely no sugar, no carbs, which is what I'm going to be doing in September. And it's really hard, but it's always worth it. But yeah, the sugar's tough. It's tough to,
But those are things that you really need to get rid of when you're rebooting your gut and getting it going. If you have joint swelling and pain and especially like a rheumatoid arthritis thing or any arthritis, there's extras that there's specific foods that cause inflammation. And those are like the nightshades, which are like tomatoes, potatoes, I want to say eggplant, peppers, then nuts, soy, yeast products. So breads in general, yeasted breads in general, alcohol and caffeine, and then any fruit that gives you gas and bloating.
Yeah.
So,
fruit that's high in mold and fungus or melons. So melons, banana, grapes, you want to stick to berries essentially and green apples, and that, and citrus. Those are going to be your best fruits when you're healing your gut versus some of the sweeter, sugary fruits.
Yeah.
We have a great question from Claire. She's asking, if we stop using the medication for chronic heartburn, what can replace those meds for the relief of symptoms? And that's a really good question. And first things first is being data driven. For me, I would want to really look at your system and understand what is the root cause of that, because while the leaky gut is likely the root cause of it, there may be other things that are going on. So before you just completely stop, but if you do want to completely stop and see how you feel, I know in Ayurveda, Banyan botanicals is my go-to, and I'll put that here in the comments. But Banyan, actually, I'll put it on these banners, you guys, so that you can see here. I'll get this up here. So Banyan botanicals has a CCFT. It's cumin, coriander, and fennel. And so let me switch that up. There you go. Look at that. So that tea is excellent for drinking just a cup of it after you eat to help you process your food, because sometimes if you're having chronic heartburn, it may be that you're enzyme deficient and you're not able to process your food naturally or correctly. And so it's coming back up into the esophagus, or it's coming up into this space and really bothering you. So I would want some more information, but without a lot of information, that would be my recommendation, is the Banyan Botanicals CCFT. There's a few different versions now. My recommendation would be just the regular CCFT. And if you don't want to order from Banyan, you guys, it's just cumin, coriander, and fennel, and you can get whole seeds and just make a tea from it. And you got a unique flavor. I like it, but if you just drink a cup of it after you eat, and that will help relieve and reduce the symptoms. And if that works, then you definitely have an enzyme deficiency. So something isn't happening in the stomach that needs to process everything. You can also be highly acidic. So you can also look at alkalizing your body with super greens or green powders or algae or any of those things. That's my advice. Sheryl, what about you on the herbology end?
So if you're having actual, like the heartburn symptoms, I know licorice root tea will cool that down pretty quickly. You can also buy DGL licorice, like in a capsule. DGL just means I'm going to say it wrong, deglycerized licorice. That is the part taken out that can cause lowered blood pressure. And then I use what I call a tummy tea. And I use that for gas and bloating. And it is fennel, mint, peppermint, and I usually put in a chamomile. You can also put in ginger. I don't like ginger in tea, to be honest. I'm one of those weird people. I like it in my food, not in my tea, so I don't use it. But I like that tea. It's really good, and that helps the gas and the bloating if you take it either right before a meal or after a meal or whenever you're feeling kind of icky. That's what I would do.
Well, and your tummy tea recipe is going up on the site, actually, as we speak. So just so you guys know, because of our One Heart, One Earth clinic, which we're so excited about, our global clinic, yay! It's really gotten off to a great start. We are on the oneheartonearth.net site. When you go there and you go to articles, there's a section for food and recipes. And Cheryl's tummy tea should be up really within 48 hours, I think, or less. You'll be able to find that information there. So that'll be available for you guys. So you'll have that recipe. And then maybe Cheryl post it on your social media as well. If you're go back.
And also, if you're in, you're glitching. You're glitching.
You're not.
I love live. Anyway, if you're in Colorado, Natural Grocers, you can buy fennel. You can buy all those in bulk in little bags. So you're not buying, spending like $5 for a little jar. I'm always for the cheap. So I don't know if other groceries in other areas have bulk sections of their herbs, but and I think they might actually have licorice roots. I have not looked, but I think they might at Natural Grocers too.
Yeah, Natural Grocers is a good go-to. If you're out of Colorado and you have places that are good go-tos for you, please feel free to share them in the comments on the live or on the video later or in our MeWe forum, because I think all of us are looking for those resources. So feel free to share those, because we're both Sheryl and I are in Colorado. So I think, knowing what else is out there is really helpful as well.
That would be great. Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah. Cool.
Good question. It was a good question, because what I was going to do, which goes into kind of what you were saying, after you reboot and you remove the stuff, is to replace. And one of the things was digestive enzymes, which you can buy over the counter. And that's if you have undigested food and stool, which sounds really disgusting. I'm sorry, but I had to say it. Gas and bloating after meals. You would take this at the start of each meal when the body would naturally start pumping that out. And then also to boost stomach acid. You can do digestive bitters at the start of the meal, or 1 to 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in water at 1 to 2 meals daily. Because sometimes even when you think you have a lot of acid because you have that heartburn or whatever, you may not actually have a lot. It's just where it's coming up. Anyway.
Yeah.
And then the other thing with GERD, Claire, that I had written here is zinc carnosine, which we're loving our zinc, but 30 milligrams daily can help heal the inflammation in your stomach, which can also cause that acid to come up too. And then after that, you want to start repairing, getting your gut flora, the microbiome going again. And that is, we have the probiotic capsules or drink, if you like. And that one should include the lactobacillus and the bifidobacteria. Oh my gosh, I should have practiced my words today.
It's all good.
I know. So you want both of those, at least 10 billion colonies. I think they're colonies.
Mm-hmm.
For a couple of months. And then you can taper that down. But you also need to eat those dark leafy greens, at least 2 cups at 2 meals a day. Mm-hmm. And then they also suggest the fermented vegetables at a meal too. So that's like your sauerkrauts and your beets or whatever. And they sell those made or like in the refrigerated sections, or you can make them, but make them without the vinegar. Like there's a way to make fermented vegetables. I have a friend, or I know someone who does it with, she told me too, cabbage, and she just basically mushes it down and then sets it for a long time with something else. I can't remember what she said. And it doesn't have any vinegar. So you don't want to use vinegar when you're making the fermented vegetables for the gut flora.
Well, and let's talk about this for a minute, because I think most everyone, so everybody has Candida albicans in their system. We all have them. Most everyone has an overgrowth of Candida, which is a form of yeast in the body, and this causes all sorts of problems. If you have Candida overgrowth, having anything fermented is going to cause a problem. So I want to accentuate that this is the repair portion of the process. So you really have to do a pretty solid reboot and remove before you're going to start adding those fermented vegetables in. And for those of you who are watching, like, I went through the Candida removal, and it's taken me about a decade to get to a place where fermented vegetables don't have an effect. And so I'm not saying that you guys will have to take that long, so don't be overwhelmed by that, for sure. But just understand, I had chronic ear infections as a kid. And was on antibiotics for long extended periods of time. I was on, the birth control shot and all of these different things throughout my 20s. So between like age 8 and age like 25, for those years, I was damaging my system and growing yeast in my body, growing Candida. So if you have any Candida issues, yeast infections, fungal infections, there's a whole website, candidadiet.org, that will give you all sorts of information about it. But the point is, make sure you're doing this reboot and remove and really clearing out your system before you start adding in all the fermented foods, because they do serve a purpose, but you can't really rebuild until you've removed all the garbage, and that can take time. So, and you can do this in cycles too, don't you think, Sheryl? I mean, I think like every year it's like a reboot, remove, repair kind of throughout the year. It's not just you do it one time. Like, you keep doing it. But just remember, like, every time you remove and do a detox or a cleanse, you're scraping away another layer of junk, and then you can do the repair portion. But I just want to jump in on that because a lot of folks have Candida issues. So it's just something for you guys to understand and know.
Yeah. And this is kind of like the general information for where you have the information so you can see where you're at, where you want to, where you feel you can start on your reboot, what you really need to see where you feel you're at. Do you need to get rid of some medications? Do you need to get rid of the food? Do you need to, and you're right, everybody's at a different place and have different bodies and stories, and maybe you're really good on your food, and then, but you're, like you said, you're at that place where you just need to do it again. Restart, because we change, we grow, we age, we are recovering from an illness or something, and all that affects your gut. You could have been sick a month ago, and guess what? Your gut needs a reboot. Just because.
I know mine needs it. I'm definitely, and it's amazing how much it's transformed in a decade. Like, I think of where I started and all these little steps I've gone through, and it's kind of like, okay, I'm ready for the next layer of stuff to go. But it changes, and being in that natural flow of the change is really important. Thank you, Claire. I'm glad to see you're going to be in with me next week to get this figured out. But don't worry, you guys can heal your gut. You really can. It's really about understanding the steps and how to do it, which is part of why Sheryl put this together today. So we can talk about it.
And if you listen to your body, because you know which foods you shouldn't be eating, because your body tells you. Like, I've known for a long time, and they're usually the foods you really kind of want when you don't feel, when you're kind of sad or depressed. Those are the foods you go to, or the ones your body really doesn't need.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this from a person who hasn't gone through it. So yes, I have. I'm still going through it. So I've been there. Lisa's been there. We know. The other thing I'd mentioned, the probiotics, there's also prebiotics. which are the starches found in like onions, garlic, and I love my garlic. Asparagus, Jerusalem artichokes. I don't think I've ever had a Jerusalem artichoke.
Yeah, there's a lot of caps for it because I don't know that I've ever seen a fresh one in Colorado. Okay. So there are caps for the Jerusalem artichoke. I don't know if intuitively I feel like any opinion about it, so I haven't tried it.
Okay. Well, that was suggested, and that's 4 to 10 grams daily. So that sounds like something that would be in a capsule. That's a lot. Like that'd be like a whole onion.
Yeah, it would be. And don't you think, Cheryl? I mean, for me, like when I'm really focused on what I'm cooking and doing, I try to eat. I'm a big shallot fan. I love shallot.
Oh yeah,
totally. For everybody who's watching, I went to culinary school back in 1998. Oh my gosh, so long ago is when I graduated from culinary school. But I am a little bit of a food nerd, and so shallots are they're just a little bit better than a regular onion. But I usually cook with a few, like 2, 3, 4 shallots and 6 cloves of garlic, like with my vegetables every day. With coconut oil or sesame oil or olive oil or a mix of those, clarified butter. But yeah, I mean, if you're going through any of these steps, to be honest, I think cooking with onions and garlic is like necessary. Don't you think?
I do, except I do know that it can, if you're in the part of where you really need to heal your gut, onions and garlic can give you bad gas and really irritate your stomach. So if your stomach is in a really bad place, it could cause an issue until you get it healed somewhat.
That's a good point. And you want to know, you remind me of something. So, because garlic and onions also kill yeast and fungus and all the little pathogens and microbials that live in your gut. And so one good trick is to start with a spoonful of coconut oil every day. You could do MCT oil or caprylic acid. You could take caprylic acid caps. You could do both. It looks like I'm glitching now. Anyway, can you hear me okay? That's all that matters. Okay. Yes. But the thing is, if you do a scoop of coconut oil, you can literally just eat a scoop of it. But you could put it in a smoothie, you could put it in a drink, you could put it in your coffee. I don't know, you can cook with it, whatever. But if you start with that and do that for a few weeks, then you should be able to switch to the garlic and onions without it crushing you. Because oftentimes if it's crushing you, it could be because there are many reasons, and enzymes are a big one, but one of the bigger ones is the yeast, fungus, microbials. So it kind of like gets you, what's the word I'm trying to say? Our words, you guys, we need a cleanse, Cheryl and I. Geez. It just builds you in gradually. Like it builds you in gradually for your gut. Like it gives you space to like start killing stuff in a less stressful way. And if you're really trying to kill candida, and we could do a whole show on candida, maybe we should, but if you're trying to kill candida in your gut, then I would recommend coconut oil as much as possible. Eat it, cook it, everything, coconut oil. But I would also take caprylic acid before bed too. So I would actually do both to try, and pantothenic acid to really help your system process the fungus and the mold out of your body and the yeast and everything. But anyway, I digress.
No, that was good. That was good information too, because I hate when I can't do garlic and try
supper and then go back to it and see how you feel.
Yeah, good. I love that. So the last thing I have, I think, yes, sure, is after all this, the final one is actually is more of an actual repair. We were repairing, but this is more of the nitty gritty repair, the fine tuning, and using herbs there's 3 herbs that are the best thing for healing the gut, and that is, or repairing the gut, I should say. Turmeric, marshmallow root, and the licorice, the DGL licorice, the deglycerized licorice. Oh my gosh. For healing the gut lining, I should say. And the turmeric dose is 2 to 10 grams of powdered herb per day, or fresh root in smoothies. And that's completely anti-inflammatory. And then the marshmallow root and licorice root is a demulcent, which means they're anti-inflammatory, but they're also like cooling and soothing. So it really just kind of like, I always picture it kind of like it's gonna be like a blanket going on it. So it's just calming it and cooling it and soothing it. And that helps really, really calm it, repair it, let it, I don't know, kind of join back together into one nice little unified thing. Also the zinc, L-glutamine, and then your antioxidant vitamins A, C, E, and the mineral selenium. So, and you don't really need to wait till the end to do those. They can be taken at any time. They'll still help. They're still great for not just your gut, but your whole body too.
Yeah. But I just got a new mineral supplement. I actually have it right here in my office. I'm going to show you guys my little apothecary over here. But Banyan has a new product. Let's see if I can figure this out, because this is backwards on
I know, it's annoying.
How do I do this? Boom. There we go.
There you go.
Shilajit.
Shilajit,
and it's a new product from Banyan, and it promotes detoxification, but it's a mineral blend from the Himalayas. So this black tar actually comes out of the rock in the Himalayan mountains.
Wow.
And it's full of these incredible minerals, and it just came out, and it like gave me goosebumps. It's giving me goosebumps now, but it gave me goosebumps when it came out and I read about it, and that's when I know for sure, like, this is something that's going to transform my energy field. I'm very mineral deficient. Like, I have a hard time holding on to minerals, so I'm in salt baths like 5 days a week. No joke. I'm in like a pound of salt almost every night. Wow. Part of it is your energy field when you're doing spiritual work and health and wellness work, but part of it is because I need the minerals. Well, this is awesome. So I've been taking it for about 30 days. It's actually one of the only supplements I've been taking. So it was a really great test run for it too, because I haven't been taking anything for about 12 weeks. So I did give this a try, packed full of minerals. It's awesome. So if you need to get some minerals in your system, I do recommend Shilajit. There's probably minerals in here we don't ever get. So I just wanted to recommend that. I don't get anything from Banyan. I wish I did, but the point is, it's really great stuff. So
yeah,
FYI.
Okay, that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
I do. I actually make a tea. Of course I do, but that I get minerals. It's raspberry, peppermint, raspberry leaf, peppermint, nettles, stinging nettles. I know I'm not gonna remember what's in it. Anyway, it has calcium, magnesium, manganese, selenium, like high of all of the micro minerals and the other, calcium and stuff that you need in the tea. And I also put marshmallow root in there and stuff, and it's really good too.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I only drink like half a cup a day, and I get, how the RDA is always low on their numbers anyway, but like 10 times the RDA.
Yeah.
Which is probably what you need, 10 times of what they say, but can you say that? The RDA's numbers are always low.
I don't know.
We said it.
We'll find out.
So anyway, I think that's all that I have on that. I think that it's just good to know, and that people, it's just really important. I mean, it really is.
It is. And I think we could deep dive into a lot of these different things over the months to come. And so let's kind of recap. So first off, I want to invite everyone who is watching, if you have questions for Sheryl or I about the gut or about the process she was talking about today with reboot and repair and remove, you can throw those in the comment box and we'll answer them for you. But Sheryl, I think let's just kind of recap those steps. So like in reboot, what are like the key things that everybody needs to remember? First step in reboot.
I lost my reboot. Oh, sorry. Reboot is removing all the bad stuff. So that's
eliminating the toxins from your diet and your environment.
And the foods that you are sensitive to.
Okay. So that's going to be inflammatory foods. So following an anti-inflammatory diet, right? Nightshades is another one.
That's especially if you have any inflammation. So if you're not really don't feel the inflammation, you could probably keep the nightshades in. It's more like the gluten, dairy, the sugar, white refined flours, and all the artificial, and then the toxins, the GMOs.
Yep. Perfect. And then second step is remove, right?
So that's the 4 medication triggers. So the PPIs, which is the omeprazole, Prilosec types, the antibiotics, the NSAIDs like ibuprofen, Aleve, and the Tylenol. Remove that, and instead use natural. Use the herbs, and for pain relief or indigestion relief instead.
Okay.
So get those out.
The third part is repair, which is going into nutrients, enzymes, fermented foods,
digestive bitters, the probiotics, and fiber. I forgot to mention fiber. You got to up your fiber.
Yeah, green apples. Don't do red. Green apples, celery. How else do you get your fiber?
I think I pretty much get it just from the greens, and you can ground up flaxseed. That's really good too. I was trying to think.
Yeah, flaxseed and I aren't friends. They definitely create too much air element.
Gotcha. That is an issue when you're getting your fiber up.
Yeah, it is for sure. So that goes to, are you ready to intake that fiber in that way or not?
Right. And you do have to be careful. You can do the, of course, you can do like beans and stuff, but you again have to be careful what beans you're using and everything for that. So, again, where's your stomach at? And what you can do, and everybody's different,
and kind of see like what can you handle, what can't you handle, and it's. I think that we aren't necessarily mindful as a collective group of human beings about what our gut's really doing. I think we do a lot of medicating the gut, medicating the symptoms, and so just becoming mindful of what is going on with your gut is number one. I mean, after working on my health for the last 10 plus years, I know for me, now I really notice like if something's not right with my stomach, it's like kind of a surprise. It's like, woof, what's going on here? Because I don't really have those issues at all anymore. But it took a lot of time to get to that place. But I don't know where you're at with your gut mindfulness. Like a whole other show too, gut mindfulness.
I know. And on that, I do want to say something that I think a lot of people don't know what normal is for their gut or for the body. And I want to say that being straight here, having a bowel movement at least once a day is normal, not skipping days. And actually twice a day is probably more normal. And it should be nicely formed, normal brownish color, not too dark, not too light. That's normal. It's not loose. It's not skipping days. It's not that's normal. And so if you're not having that, something's not right.
Yeah, and it should be in the morning. You should have that.
Morning's better.
And you want it to be snakes. So you kind of want to ask yourself, and we actually ask the kids and each other, my husband and I, like, is it snakes? Is it rocks?
Yeah.
Is it mud? Like, you want to ask those questions to your kids, you know, to yourself, you know, what is my bowel movement like? How does it feel? Is it a nice long snake? You know, like what's happening there? Because it should be nice long snakes. It should be, like you said, well formed. I like that wording. You should be doing that in the morning. You really want to get in the habit of like waking up and doing that. And a couple times a day is good. If you're more than that, you may not be holding on to your nutrients as much. So it doesn't necessarily mean something's wrong if it's 3 times a day or 4. If it's nice snakes, what you need to do is, or what you'd like to do if you're in that instance, which is probably rare. If it's loose and a lot, that's a whole other issue. But if they're healthy and you're having it 3 or 4 times a day, then just be aware that you may not hold on to your nutrients as much as somebody else, or you may have a short colon. So in Ayurveda, your colon is short, medium, and long based on your dosha. So you can actually have like a vata colon would be a shorter colon, or it just doesn't hold as much as like a kapha colon that's going to be nice and long. So it's kind of interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah. So you kind of want to think like, how much do I hold on to my poo? And the other thing is that's a great self-inquiry question, because if you're constipated, there's something you're holding on to that you don't want to let go of. So there is an energetic component.
Yes.
What's happening with your gut and your colon and your ability to remove, you know, waste from your body. Essentially, you really don't want waste rotting in your body. Right. And that's what's happening when you have SIBO, you have leaky gut, you have candida, you have all of these different inflammation and co-infection stuff going on in your gut.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when people start paying attention, they'll start seeing and connecting it to their health and their life and what's going on.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you brought this whole topic up, Sheryl. And I think we probably need to dive in even further into the gut health, and we'll continue to do that. And for everybody who's watching, just my own plug for Sheryl is she writes the most incredible health blogs. You guys are really, really great. So when you go to her website, which is scrolling across the screen right now, which is coloradoherbalist.com, she has a blog on there with articles. Those articles, some of those are featured on the oneheartonearth.net website with our new OHO clinic. So you're welcome to go there as well. And you can find both Sheryl and myself through oneheartonearth.net under the OHO clinic. If you're interested in getting health support with either of us, you're welcome to go through that as well. We have a few other practitioners on there too. But she does have some really excellent recipes and articles that are so knowledgeable and informative and well written. So I do really acknowledge, you know, like get on there and learn, because Sheryl has a lot of good stuff on there as well. I love it. I have not written a blog article or a magazine article for like 3 months. So I have a nice long list. So
I think I'm slacking too, actually, but
we're doing better than me. I have one coming out for fall, and Sheryl and I will be back in September a couple different times for fall. Vicky's asking, what about lack of enzymes? So lack of enzymes is a whole, let's put that on our list, Sheryl. Maybe we should tackle enzymes in September.
Yeah, we'll put that.
Yeah, we'll work on it for September, because here's what I'll tell you. It's actually really complicated.
It is.
Because your body creates enzymes to process the food that's in your stomach. So here's what I will say about enzymes today. The best thing you can do is manage how you eat and drink. Meaning, if you think you might have some enzyme issues, or you're curious if you do, Do not drink liquids when you eat your meal. You really don't want to dilute what's happening inside your stomach. You want your enzymes to produce and actually eat your food. So the best thing that you can do to activate enzymes completely naturally is to take a bite of food. Really, if you really want to get really scientific about it, you can actually eat a piece of apple, ideally a piece of green apple, before you eat, like 20 minutes before, because what that piece of apple is going to do is it starts to generate the enzymes, and apple has some specific enzymes in it that start to get things moving. Then you sit down, you have your meal. You do not drink until 10 minutes after your meal, and then you start drinking your drink, because if you're pounding a drink while you eat, which a lot of us do, I worked in retail for years, right? Like I was pounding my drink and eating my food and hurrying back to work. So that's not the answer that we want. But you really want to allow your food to come into your belly and to start digesting. And then you eat until the first burp. When you have that first burp, that burp is recognition that your enzymes are producing and beginning to digest your food. And at that point, you should stop eating. You've filled your stomach 3/4 full. There's no more that you need to do, and the enzymes are processing. So if you really want to check your enzymes, see if you burp at all. If you don't, you probably have an enzyme issue. See how you feel when you eat that way. And stop diluting your stomach acids by drinking a bunch of stuff while you're eating food. So that would be my long-winded short answer to the enzyme question. But Sheryl, that could be, we'll put that on the docket for September, because I think enzymes it's a whole world in and of itself, I think. What do you think, Sheryl? Any other things to add?
It's I don't have anything to add now, but it is a definitely another world. It's a lot more complicated, but it's definitely something we can hit next month. Yeah.
Well, and we have a really great, Sheryl and I have a great synergy. It's part of why we do this, right? But if you guys have ideas or questions, topics you want covered, things you want to know, please comment on the videos, and we read those and we'll take those to heart and get the information out to you. Susan's asking if you have gas, how far back do you look at what you eat or drink? Well, you don't have to look back that far, I don't think.
No.
Where the gas is coming from. If it's coming from here, then it's very, very recent. If it's coming from down yonder, it's still not that far away. I mean, it could be within, an hour of a meal.
Although because I'm still working on my gut, I will have gas from like in the evening from morning.
Okay.
So depending on where your gut health is, or if you're having an issue for whatever reason, an illness or anything, it should not go back to the previous day. I wouldn't think. There's clearly something else happening, but I've had it where it's been hours, and with something's happening though. It's not normal. Normal would be just an hour or two.
Well, and I think that's a good point, is like, it depends on where your gut health is.
Yeah.
Like,
so I'm working on mine.
Yeah, well, aren't we all? And
I know.
I'd say I'm far enough along where I recognize, because what happens is, and this is what I've experienced, is when you first try to start healing your gut, it's like you can't even get it. It's like way too complicated. It's not even complicated, but your body isn't reacting that way, And so that is tough. And it's taken some time where I actually can integrate and like deepen what I'm doing for my gut. Does that make sense? Because it's like when you first start out, it's like all diet. It's like all just diet. And now I'm like, ooh, okay, now I think I can really go in and start doing some flora restore, or, doing the fermented vegetable, starting to get things to move my gut into a different space. Vicky says basically all we can have is water. Well, you can have whatever you want to drink, just don't have it while you're eating. That's the key. So I would say you can have coffee, water, tea, sparkling water, whatever it is you want, juice, whatever it is you're drinking. But I would just say, like, just don't have the liquids while you're actually eating your food. And if you do, just do a sip. Don't drink a whole cup of water like while you're eating, because now that's sitting in your stomach diluting your enzymes and your acid. That's all. Just that. What else, man? You got anything else today? This was good.
Yeah, I don't
either. This was awesome. You guys did just awesome audience today. Appreciate and love all of you so much. A few little announcements I have, if I can remember them. My movie documentary series, Awakened Grace, is releasing part 1 on Saturday at 11:11 a.m. I'm excited. Part 2 is a week from Saturday, and part 3 is on September 11th. So get ready at 11:11. So pretty excited about that. So if you've not yet watched the trailer, please go look at the official trailer on YouTube of Awakened Grace. It's right on the main page, and share with everyone because it's going to be awesome. We also are starting our Urge to Purge 2020. We're going to do this twice a year, every year, and this is our kickoff. So there's free support for detox, and you can find that information really all across all my social media. And then the November Awakening event with oneheartonearth.net is underway with planning. It's so exciting. We have like 40 practitioners from all across the globe. So if you are interested in attending this free event, you can register right now at oneheartonearth.net. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If you have not yet subscribed to me on YouTube or Twitter, please do, so you can watch all these shows live. We have a brand new feature with all this great new software that we have. We actually have everything scheduled out in advance. You can set your own reminders to remind you of when these lives are, and be able to kind of plan your week. We hit our 100th show in 2 weeks, so get ready. I know. It's insane, isn't it?
It really is. Yeah.
So insane. So thank you guys so much. Cheryl, thank you so much. You always have so much great information, and thank you for putting this all together. This presentation and all the information was really well thought out. And
thank you.
Yeah, it just gives us tools. And thank you to everybody who's watching. Have a great day. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Is Wednesday, right?
Yes. Yeah, I don't know.
So tomorrow at 11 a.m., 11:11, we have a really special guest, Misa Hopkins. She is a best-selling author and has, cured her MS through sound healing. She's really, really incredible, and a really incredible woman. We're so lucky to have her. So join us tomorrow. We'll be back at 11 a.m. with her, and much love to you, Cheryl, and to everybody out there. Thank you guys.